did she? But this time we do seem to be getting audio. Man, this whole YouTube live thing used to be easy. Now it's not so easy. I'm going to adjust this camera here just a touch, just like that. And welcome in. We're going to do a live Q&A. It's been a while since I've done a live Q&A, so we'll give some time for people to come on. Man, if you guys saw the sweepstakes we did, the end of that thing where we were trying to give these bikes away and I was trying to do it live, man, we struggled because YouTube wouldn't give audio. So as you come in here, let me know where you're coming from and what bike you're riding and what questions you have. So that would be great. We got Andy Strickland in here. We got David Fielder, Big Dave from Graham, Washington. So good to have you guys in. I'm excited because I'm going to get to meet the winner of the Husky this week, Sean Nichols. He was that gentleman from Morrison, Colorado. We're going to try to meet up in the end of the week. He's got a busy schedule with work, and he's like, hey, he couldn't really do it much until March. I'm like, dude, can you help me out and meet me before March? Because my next sweepstakes will start in March, and I want to have been able to at least shown that I gave this bike away. So anyway, fingers crossed he's gonna take the day off. And at least that's what I heard, and drive and meet me. So we'll see. We've got Ryan Seaford on here. World's okayest dirt bike rider is on here. Andy Strickland is from Indiana. Ryan is from Washington State. Cargo 4508 is from Texas. He's riding a KTM 300. Andre Skamala says hi. Is Tyler Thewison still riding with you, Mrs. Bills? Yeah, we do. We don't. Our lives are so busy with teenagers. We don't ride nearly as much as we used to. But he's a cool guy. He's like my best. He's my bro. Tyler is a much better dirt bike rider than I am, and he's a better builder than I am. But yeah. Don D says, Don from Lafayette, Louisiana, 300 gas. Ryan Seaford is from Maple Valley, Washington. Vincent Henning in here from Olympia, Washington. We got a bunch of Washington people. Jonathan Siegel says, Kyle, what's next? What's next is this video right here. And then the next bike that we're going to be giving away is a 2025 Gas EC300 GP. That's the special edition that they have. And I'm having Kevin over at Moto Experts do custom suspension for us. So it's sitting over there right now. The bike is completely torn apart, and he's going to put in the 6500 cartridges. So it'll be absolutely tricked out. Also revalve the shock and put a new bladder on it. So it's going to be amazing. So I said, let's just go all out on this thing. So that's what we're doing. I don't have any pictures of it yet because Kevin still has the suspension for it. So as soon as I get that, then I'm going to take some photos of it and get that going. So let's see. Matthew Hargroder from Louisiana, YZ250X. Anthony Hancock. Let's see a review of the 25 KTM 300 XCW. I love it. I don't have a 25 XCW. I did get the 2025 250XC, and I've got that one ready to ride. But the weather's been so crazy. Today's been great weather. But up until this time, it's been super cold and whatever. So I haven't ridden it at all. But I will be talking about a 2025 250XC when I've got that, when I get some time to ride it. That was from Anthony. He's in British Columbia. Bill Rogers got a YZ125 and a KX250F from North Carolina. Knights 518 says he just sold his 300 or his 250 XC TPI. Zach is from Toronto with an EC250. David Felder, do you think KTM is going under? You know what? So I haven't looked since I did that video of is KTM going out of business on January 16th. I haven't even read one thing, not even one thing since that time. So did a little bit of research for that video. I did the video. The video said, is KTM going under? It came out January 16th. I don't think they're going under at that time, and I haven't read anything since that time. I don't think they're going under. I never thought they were. So you can go ahead and watch that video and see what I had to say about it at the time. But no, I don't think they're going under. KB in here from Horseheads, New York. Jonathan Siegel. Okay, let's go something different. I'm guessing he's talking about the gas. It's maybe something different. I think that's part of the problem is that gas isn't different enough. But what I have noticed is with these sweepstakes, they just don't do well if I stray very far from the mainstream. Like even the Hondas that I've done didn't do so great. The Husky gas KTM, those sweepstakes seem to go pretty well. Thoughts on the new possible? So the Real J says thoughts on the possible new Cowie 2-stroke. I think it's awesome. I think that the only thing I've seen, and this was like last week, and I've been super busy with kids and different things going on, trying to keep both my arms and hands are so messed up because I've been working on both my kids' cars the last little bit. Just this week, you can't really tell, but like my hands are raw as hamburger because I was trying to get down in there and change this. I can't remember what it's called. This like thing on my daughter's 2016 Fusion. And it was like, yeah. So my hands are rough. My arms are rough. That's what I've been doing. Anyway, so the point of that is to say I've been working a lot on cars, my kids' cars. And it was like last week, Kawasaki put out something on their Instagram and they said, hey, we heard you. And it's like something about 2-strokes. And I'm like, this is awesome. I hope that they bring back their KX250. Like that would be amazing. Bring back the KX250 and the KX125. Why not? So many people love them. So many people ride them. They'd get so much like social cred. And I'd buy one. Stick it on the channel. KX250. That sucker would be awesome, especially if they put electric start on it. And if they put electric start on it, it would basically force Yamaha to get off their arses and put electric start on their YZ250. It'd be awesome. I would love it. So Anthony Strickland says, no bike currently. Last bike was an 07 300XC. I need a new one. Yes, Anthony, you do need a new one. That bike is 18. The last bike you had was 18 model years old. You need that. Terrence Jones. Oh gosh, I love this. Terrence Jones. He says, I'm 28. Am I too old to start riding? Terrence, let me tell you a story. There once was a person named Kyle Brotherson. He was 30 and he decided to buy a dirt bike. That's how this whole thing started, Terrence. I was 2 years older than you and I decided to ride. And guess what? It totally changed my life. I'm not saying it's going to change yours, but I'm just saying it changed mine. It's kind of everything revolves in some ways around the sport for me now. And I know a ton of guys that start this at 35, 45, 55. I talk to people every week, or at least every month, that start riding at 60. There is no, you're too old to start riding if you think you're going to win races. Yeah. I mean, you might win a race in your class. If your idea is to get in and make a living riding motorcycles, yeah, it's probably not going to happen at 28. But I don't make a living riding motorcycles either. I've never made a living riding motorcycles. I've turned this into a living, but it's not because I'm riding the dirt bike, if that makes sense. But you're never too old. You're never too old to start. That's one thing I've learned. And probably the people, the avatar, the customer, the viewer that I've talked to the most as far as emails or phone calls or whatever it is somebody that is getting back into the sport later in life. And usually that's 30 or 40 or 50. They're getting back into it and they're kind of like starting over again. And so, no, you're not too old. You are in the sweet spot. The sweet spot to start riding dirt bikes is anywhere from about 3 years old until about 75 years old. If you're beyond 75, you're just a little bit out of the sweet spot, but you can still start riding dirt bikes and you're still fine. You're still good to go. My dad's 70. He still rides motorcycles all the time. So thanks for the question, Terrence. Great question. Love that. Joe Stumpy says, how do I know if my 2018 Husqvarna FC350 clutch is slipping? I dragged my rear brake in third today without the clutch pulled and it stayed in. Oh, it stayed at the same PR. I just want to make sure. I'm trying to understand this. I dragged my rear brake in third without the clutch pulled. Without the clutch pulled in. And it stayed at the same RPM. I mean, that's a really hard thing. I was just dragging. My son just came to get his bike to go ride with his buddies, and I just warmed it up. And we're putting him. I've got him on a brand new 2025 KTM 250 SXF, and I was dragging the brake. Just depends on how much gas you're giving. Like, that's a really hard one to know. How do you know if your clutch is slipping? You would know if your clutch is slipping if you give it gas and nothing happens. Those Husky and KTM clutches are very, very robust, especially even on that 2018. And so, unless you're riding the hell out of it and keeping your throttle all the way open, and then just modulating the power with the clutch and heating it up like crazy, I doubt your clutch is burning out. But with the amount that you gave, where you just say, I dragged my rear brake in third today without the clutch pulled in and it stayed at the same RPM. I just want to make 100% sure. I can't tell you 100% from those two sentences. I'd have to ride it for a little bit. And even then, but the thing is, your bike would get hot and it wouldn't have power. If your clutch was slipping, you would be no hand on the clutch, giving it gas or going up a hill. And then suddenly like the motor's spinning up, but the tire isn't spinning. If that makes sense. The good news is, like I said, they're very robust and it isn't expensive to put a new clutch in this bike. You can buy a new OEM clutch, or if you wanted to go with an upgraded clutch, you'd go with like a Hinson clutch or a Recluse manual clutch. I know most people think of Recluse with auto clutches, but Recluse makes a fantastic manual clutch. And they're not that expensive. So I doubt you have a problem with yours, but even if there was a problem with it, change your oil, put new clutch plates in there and everything, clutch plates and a basket, and you're good to go. A couple $100, you should be good to go. Rage 0462 says he's riding a 2019 Honda CRF 250R in Nebraska. Vincent Henning says, nice shirt, got one just like it. Yes, I do like these. Thanks so much, buddy. Appreciate that, Vincent. KB says he just grabbed a Gas ES 350. Nice. Michael Lechner Jr. How do I set the tension properly with a KTM clutch? How do I set the tension? Okay, so first off, KTM doesn't make clutches. It depends on what bike. Most of them will have a Brembo clutch, okay? I mean, they have a KTM internals. But when you're talking about the tension, you're talking about taking it apart. That's going to be in your owner's manual. That one I'm not able to just say off the top. How do I set the tension properly on a KTM clutch? You're going to have to tell us, which clutch you're talking about. Is this a KTM 50 or is it a KTM 450? And what exactly are you doing? It's a hydraulic clutch, so they adjust themselves. You're not setting tension. So I'm talking, you're talking about you've got it all the way unbolted and you're trying to torque those bolts down. That will be in the manual. Andre Skamala says, do you still love the 250XC as much as you used to? I ride a 2020 KTM EXC TPI, but what I've heard, the new XCs are more like the MX bikes. So this is true that XCs are more like the XC KTMs are more like the motocross bikes. However, I have this 2025, which has a new frame, which is supposed to be more compliant. I haven't ridden it yet, though. I've got it all set up and I haven't ridden it. I didn't love the 23 and the 24 XCs as much as the ones just prior to it. I didn't love them as much. But we'll find out on this 25. I don't have any time on it yet. Michael Lechner Jr. says, but the factory service manual is unclear how to take the measurement. Yeah, I don't have enough information to answer it. Vincent Henning says they're too big to fail. I think they're talking about KTM. Let me qualify that. It's not like I just think they're too big to fail in that industry. Anything could fail, but Honda and General Motors and Chrysler went through a similar thing here in the United States in 2009, and they did not fail. They restructured. They went into bankruptcy. They restructured everything, and they came back, and they're fine, and no one did a fire sale. I think the same thing will happen with KTM. So they could fail, but I don't think they will because of their size. OR, that's the username. OR says, you recommend V-Force 3 or 4 for YZ250? Honestly, I haven't really been able to tell that. He's talking about the reed valves. I haven't really been able to tell the difference. Either one is totally fine. We make a lot out of a little. And I feel like if your reeds have more than 40, 50, 100 hours on them, yeah, just replace it. And whichever one you like. I don't really know what the difference is in that between the V-Force 3 and the V-Force 4, and I don't even know if you'd be able to tell the difference. So go with your gut on it. KB says it's not going under. I just spoke with somebody yesterday about it. They told me the changes that they're making, and they're making a bunch of changes. I mean, that's essentially what I said in that video. I'm like, they're going to make a bunch of changes, and hopefully they'll come out leaner, meaner, and not greener. I don't necessarily need them greener, but leaner and meaner. I think that will happen. Bill Rogers, hey Kyle, have you done a show on cold winter storage of a bike, and what do you think you should do for early spring maintenance? Things to look at or change besides an oil change and lube job. So I think people make too much of winter maintenance. Here's what the best thing you could do with winter maintenance is two different things. Number one is put a trickle charger on the battery. That's just to, keep the battery maintained. And number two is start it every month. If you do that, you wouldn't have to do anything else. I have done a video on this before in the past, but it's been a long time. Other things you could do is put fuel, like a fuel stabilizer in there, like Stable. Go down to AutoZone or Checker or O'Reilly or whatever your auto parts store is, and get some Stable fuel stabilizer, or some other fuel stabilizer. I probably have some on Amazon. They probably have some at Rocky Mountain ATV. By the way, if you want to support these videos, use my links to Rocky Mountain ATV. It won't cost you anything. You can go to dirtbikechannel.com right now and click on the link that says Shop Rocky Mountain ATV. Those guys are awesome. Guess how many orders I've placed with Rocky Mountain ATV today? 2. I have placed 2 orders with Rocky Mountain ATV today. Those guys are stellar. Last week I placed at least 2. I spend more. Usually, I spend around a dirt bike's worth of parts with them. What I mean is, I spend between $5,000 and $10,000 a year just ordering stuff from Rocky Mountain ATV. It's stuff to keep our bikes going. It's stuff to buy to review. They're incredible. So use my link. Go to dirtbikechannel.com, or the link is in the video description down here. You just click on that, and then you order anything they have at Rocky Mountain ATV. If you want to go to my website, you can go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com, and there's a link. One of the links is Shop Rocky Mountain ATV. Click on that, and then you order anything you want from Rocky Mountain ATV. You just log in with your own credentials like you would normally do. You won't notice that anything's happening different, but I will get a kickback, and that's amazing. You know what I'm holding right here? So I find these little things on Amazon every once in a while. These are valve caps. It's a valve stem cap that I put on my truck. See that? It's a little American flag thing. And I ordered 4 of these, but 5 came. So this has been sitting in my truck, or that's been on my truck. And this is just like a fun thing that I have on my desk. And when I'm in calls or whatever, I just pick it up. It's like this little billet aluminum valve cap that I found on Amazon America. Little America thing. Anyway, that's what I'm holding in my hands. I do have also a link for Amazon. It's on my website. I don't push it enough. I should because I make like $100 a month off commissions for it, because some of you guys know where it is, and it is like $100 a month, but every little bit helps. But the Rocky Mountain ATV thing, that helps a ton. But if you're just back to winter maintenance, put a trickle charger on it and start it, or put fuel stabilizer in the bike. But even then, still start it. Start it once a month. Let it heat up. Let it warm up 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And that's it. That's all you really have to do. That's it. And then anything else, you can just, any of the other maintenance that you would do, that it doesn't necessarily mean that winter is the time to do it. You just want to keep fuel from gelling up inside the thing and keep the battery from going dead. Carl Stevens says, I'm 62. You're not too old. He's referring to that guy up above. Gustavo Romero, have you tested a Beta 480 Race Edition? No, I have not. Haven't done it. Carlos 4508 says, I'm still rocking a 2006 300 XCW. Don D says he's turning 67. Michael Lechner Jr. says he started at 39 or 40. So great. Just kind of like where I'm at. I guess I'm 43 now. Bill Bill Rogers says Avino. I don't know what that is. Michael Eckner says that he's 41 now. Brian Johansson says I'm 65 and still riding, most time keeper enduros. So there you go. Ryan Seaford says he started at 45. You're never too old. See, there's a theme in here. Terrence Jones says thank you so much. Oh, Vincent says 60 and he's been riding since he was 4. Vincent Henning. Vincent, here's a way you could get me off my butt. Vincent, if you have a good voice for podcasts, I'd love to talk to you. Maybe we do a podcast episode. If you've been going for 56 years, you probably have some cool stories to tell, and maybe we do a podcast over Zoom. I would like to do some more podcasts where we just talk about stories, like interesting stories that people have in their career of riding. So, and Vincent, since you've been riding for over 55 years, maybe you have some fun stories. Tom says, I started riding bikes when I was 18 months old on a PW50. Bill Rogers says, yes, it will. Roscoe McKinney says, I'm 55, been riding on and off since 14. Got my new KTM last month. Carl Stevens says, my clutch was slipping. I put in one extra shim and it stopped slipping. So that's one for you. Sandor Sandwiches says, do you know if you'll have your hat you're wearing back in tan back in stock? I don't think I will. He's asking about this hat. I'll put it on for you. Some of these hats are really dirty. They all look really dirty. My girlfriend gives me these. I wear hats. I wear these Dirt Bike Channel hats around you guys. And when I'm doing Dirt Bike Channel stuff, but I don't even stock them anymore. But then my girlfriend gives me other hats that I can wear out in public that aren't dirty. Like I have a ton in my truck. This one's the Dad Gang, designed by dads. But there's a ton out in my truck that I have to wear when I'm around her when I'm pretending to be civilized. This is one of the old hats that I used to have. The problem I've been having is just like I was just getting murdered with the way the housing market was and everything. And I had to buy a house and all the things. I got divorced a few years ago and then had to buy a house and I had to buy all this stuff. And I'm just barely making it. And I had to like pare down and stop offering some of these products. Because the thing is, if I stock a product and it takes 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 sweepstakes to sell that product, I'm going under, is kind of what it has looked like. So unfortunately, I don't have hats on the horizon. I do have some more shirts coming and stuff. And I know you guys don't really, you're like, dude, I've already got plenty of shirts. Well, that's how I've got the Rocky Mountain ATV links, because they've got a lot of stuff. Michael Eckner Jr. says, get a Hinson $2.99. David Fielder, do you ever ride 4-stroke bikes? I rode one 20 minutes. Right before I started this. My son's, I do. I used to keep a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke in the shop, but now that money is so tight, I just kind of keep one personal bike. But I used to have a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke. My son, I just bought a KTM 250 SXF for my son, and I was just riding up and down the street, making sure it was good to go for him to go riding with his buddies. So I rode one today. But yeah. Do you have any experience with the Lucoli tubes? No, I haven't tried that yet. Michael Eckner Jr. says, yeah, the XYZ 2014 250. Not sure what the answer. He must be responding to somebody else. Larry Biggs 29X says he's 68. Not as fast as I used to be. Been riding since the 70s. Still love the tough single track. I just do it slower. I love that. Cole says, any recommendations for camera and drone equipment for trail riding and dirt bike riding? Not really. I finally went back to a GoPro. Some of the videos you've seen recently, this is a GoPro Hero. What is it? It's probably the Hero 13 or whatever. And then so this is the camera. It's just the GoPro Hero 13. Yep. Hero 13 black. And then I put it in the medium mod. And the reason why I did that is just to get the microphone on the medium mod thing. You put this in and then you can go off the rear microphone. You can choose. It's got like a front mic and a rear mic on the medium mod thing. You can also plug in a microphone to it, I believe. But anyway, this has been working okay. So I used a Sony FDRX 3000. I used one of these things for years for riding, but it just got long in the tooth. It was still 4K. This will still work. but the form factor on the GoPro is a little better. I can't control the audio as much, but this is what I'm using now is the Hero 13 or whatever with the media mod. And that's what I'm using when I'm riding. As far as drones, I have so many different drones, but I don't use them a ton now. I don't even know if Skydio, I have a Skydio 2, or I had two of them. I don't even know if they still make them anymore. I've been so busy with so many other things. I haven't kept up on the drone tech stuff in the last couple of years. But that's what I've got. Carl Monroe says he just brought to life an old Suzuki RM250. Still can't believe how capable of a trail bike it is for its age. Kyle, have you ever rode the old trail two-stroke iron, WR250, KDX 220, etc.? I've ridden the KDX 220 like for just a few minutes. There was a guy that let me ride one for a few minutes, but not a ton. And then we did a rebuild of a 2003 Honda CR 250R. We put a bunch of money into that bike and tried to make it into see if we could make a good trail bike out of it. And I rode it a bunch, and it was the worst two-stroke I've ever been on as far as for like trail riding. And it was an 03 CR 250. Maybe we tried the wrong one, but we tried a lot of things with that thing. The best thing we did was suspension, but I still did not like it. It was hard to ride, and I didn't like it at all. How's that for honesty? But as far as like the KDX 220s, I have only ridden one for such a short amount of time that I can't speak intelligently about it. Trying to find where I am again. Okay. Sandor Sandwiches says, I bought the hat in tan and I love, but I got it filthy. I need a freshie. If I can start to make a little bit, start to get back to where I feel like I'm not going broke every sweepstakes, then maybe I will order some more hats. But it's just been, money has been razor tight. And I have invoices now for the next sweepstakes. It's just, money has been razor tight. And hats are one of those things that it might take you 2 or 3 sweepstakes to sell. I'll give you an example. I still have a few trail pumps on my website. I bought those trail pumps like 4 years ago. I had to buy 1,000 of them. Those trail pumps, they're good. I think I've got like 50 of them left. It took me like 4 years to sell them. I can't afford to buy a batch of things that takes me a long time to sell. If I do that, I will go under right now. Before, when I was still married and I didn't split the money there, and when I didn't have, when I had a cheaper mortgage, because I had like a 1.9% interest rate, and now I have like 6.5% interest rate on my house. The point is, my bills used to be a lot less. Now my bills are way more. And so it's just really tough to do, to get some of these things that I want. Benny in the Jet says a KTM or a KX 250F 2-stroke. He's talking about that. Maybe Kawasaki is going to do that. That would be awesome. Andy says, for kids, when did you know when to move them up and bike? Was it age or weight or more skill based? Mine's currently on an 85 looking to go to, or mine's currently on a 65 looking to go to an 85. So my recommendation is, as soon as they're tall enough to touch with both feet, move them up to the next one. They don't have to be able to touch with both feet. And I'm not even saying flat-footed, but once they can put both feet on the ground, if they can put both toes on the ground, they're ready to move up to that next bike, generally speaking, if they're aggressive. If they're very aggressive, they don't have to have even both feet down. They just have to have one foot down. They can put one foot down and have the other foot still up on the peg. But every time, I've never regretted moving a kid up. I've only regretted keeping them on a bike for too long. Now, I've tried to go every step. I don't want people to go straight from like an 85 2-stroke and jump to a 254 stroke. I don't think that's a good idea. Or a 252 stroke. I think you hit every step along the way. That's what my recommendation is for the kids' safety and for just their progression. He's on a 65 now, move him to an 85. And then when he's done with then put him on an 85 big wheel. I love the 85s because you can start with the smaller wheel version and then you can go to bigger wheels on the 85. And you can even punch that thing out to a 105. They call it a super mini or a 110 or whatever it is. They call it a super mini. So you just have a different piston and cylinder. And you can make those into a super mini, and then you bump them up to a 125 when they're tall enough to do it. My 14-year-old now is tall enough. I'm just waiting for the suspension to be done, and we're moving him to a 125. But I do think I think you should hit every bike along the way and not skip steps. Let's see. Brandon Lozelle, so Naughty Vlogs, says the thoughts on the new Cowie 2-stroke. We've already kind of talked about it. I hope they do it. Brandon Lozelle says, bought a 16 YZ250X, having a blast with it. First 2-stroke went from a 2018 FE501. That's a Husky 4-stroke 501 with all the Takamoto goodies. Well, that's Mike from Takamoto. He's awesome. And he says, and wow, what a blast to ride. Thanks for introducing me to the 2-strokes. You're welcome. Joe Stumpy says, I think my clutch has more than 300 hours on it. I heard some guys last 500 hours before a change. I don't ride slow enduro, so I think I'm good because the bike does still kick loose and pull like a rocket. You are right. They go forever. But at 300 hours, it wouldn't be a horrible idea to replace the clutch. But if you're not abusing the clutch, they last forever. That's crazy. Jason Mallon says, best overall bike would you recommend for multiple disciplines, single track, sprint enduro, hard enduro, etc.? 2-stroke. Single track, it's the best for that. Enduros, 2-strokes are great for that. 2-strokes are really great for hard enduro. So it's going to be an overall it's going to be some sort of a 300 2-stroke is going to be the best overall bike for all of those disciplines. Yes, you can ride other bikes with those disciplines, but the best one is going to be a 2-stroke, and it'll probably be a 300 because you're mixing in that quote hard enduro part. Naughty Vlog says thoughts on the new Cowie 2-stroke. A lot of questions on that. I hope they bring it out. I don't know if all I've seen was the one thing. Maybe you guys know something I don't. Let me just go. Let me just do a Google here. Google search Kawasaki dirt bikes, because maybe they've released something that I don't know about. Yes, we accept the cookies. So motorcycle, we've got the street off-road. Yeah, they've got the KLR, the KLX, and then in the motocross, they just have the KX65. They still have the KX65. KX4, yeah, they don't, KX250X. Yeah, they still don't have, a 2-stroke on here. So it'd be awesome if they did, but I'm just looking at their website right now. So they were kind of teasing everybody, but they've got their KLR 650. They've got a few different ones on the KLX, which are like the air-cooled heavy guys. And then they have the KX and the KX 250X, KX 450X, but those are all 4-strokes. So don't know. Hopefully they put it out. Would love to see you do a race video. I have no desire to do racing. So it's funny. Like I've been at this now for 15 years and I don't have any desire to race. I just have no desire at all. I go to races with my son. He races some moto in like this mini motocross series or whatever. But I don't have any desire to race. It hasn't ever changed. The best argument somebody gave for doing a trail ride or doing a race was, well, it's just like a trail ride where they got the trail marked really easily for you, because they'll like out here in the West, they'll do like these desert races. So you run this course, you do like 1 or 2 laps. I know a lot of people that race them. I know a lot of people like them, but most of the time they don't like them that much right after they've done them. And they're like, man, I'm never going to do that again. And then another week or two or a month goes by and they're like, I should do another race. But like I've talked to enough people that race, I don't have any desire to do it. And then I'm out there with 100 to 300 or 400 other people. And it's just not my scene. Lee Thomas says, I would like to hear about the 2025 CRF 250RX. Did they change anything on that? So if we do Honda dirt bikes, I know the oh gosh. I know that the Lawrence brothers have not had as good of a time. The Lawrence brothers and Supercross have not had as good of a time on the motocross bikes. You're looking at the RX. Let's just see if the trail 250 RX. I don't know if they changed anything on this. My gut feeling is not much change. I mean, they may have done like a few things to it, like some frame changes since I had one, I think in 2022. But yeah, that's the thing about Honda is they don't make a lot of changes, and the changes that they do are very subtle. So it's kind of the same with all the Japanese brands. I do love the website for the CRF 250RX. They show people out there riding off-road stuff in the mountains and in the trails and stuff. So they got some great footage. But I don't know anything new about the 2025 CRF 250RX. Sandor Sandwiches says, I'll pay you twice as much for a tan one. No, you won't. The tan ones took forever to sell. So I did the hats in black and then tan and white. The tan ones took forever, and that's why I can't offer it. Is they took forever to sell. Big Lunch says smart carb or electron. So what he's talking about are these aftermarket carburetors. My question to you is, how much do you think you'll be tuning on it? You have to, most cases, you have to tune a little bit. The smart carb is a little bit more money because it is externally tunable. You don't have to take it apart to tune it, but you do pay extra for it. The thing is if you put electron carburetor on one of your two strokes, once you do get it running right by adjusting the metering rod, you probably never have to open it back up again. With the smart carb, you will have to tune it, but you don't have to take it apart to tune it. So you have paid 100 or 200. I can't remember how much more they are. You paid a little bit more money, a couple $100 probably more for the smart carb, but you never did have to take it apart, most likely. So you just have to ask yourself that if that's which is more important to you, because I think I've had really good luck with both of them. But if you don't want to have to ever take it apart to tune it and adjust that metering rod in the beginning times that you ride the bike, get the smart carb. David Fielder says, do you try and keep in touch with the sweepstakes winners and see if they're liking the bike they won? I don't make an active effort to keep in touch with people. Some of them do have we have active conversations, but that's mostly on them. I don't like actively reach out to them. I know some people sell them, like, and that's because sometimes people have said, well, you should like do a video a year later or 2 years later and see where they are now. And it sounds good in principle, but some of the people have to sell them. That doesn't make for a good video. And I don't want to shame them either. Like, specifically, I'm thinking of one. I'm thinking of one person off the top of my head. Within a year, the bike had been sold. They didn't ride it at all, and the bike was sold, and that really sucked. And then there's other ones. Let's see if I can find this other. I had an email. I had it in my email here. There was another one that made me want to cry. I wonder where did I put that email? Shoot, where are you? I gotta find her because now we're talking about it. Um, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. What is your name? I'm gonna have to pull it up now because now it's gonna drive me nuts. Her name, if I go to past winners, dirt bike winners, I need to update this thing here, but it was not this year. Was it 22? Let's look at 22. As soon as I see your name, I'll know. Yeah, Christina. I'm gonna look up her email because Christina Cunningham, she won a 2022 250 SXF from me, and she wrote me an email a little bit ago. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to read this without crying. Christina Cunningham, she won. She was the runner up. If you look on my website, in fact, I'm going to put it in. Why does it say this year's winners? That's weird. Some of these pages are weird. I'm going to put it in the chat right here. So it says this page's winners. It's a link I just put in there. And if you're on a phone, don't click on it. But if you're on a computer, you could do it. Anyway, her name's Christina Cunningham. So this is what I wrote on the website. It says, as the runner of the late 2022 DBC sweepstakes, Christina from Illinois became the second female winner, and we couldn't be happier. She rides along her son and her father. Congrats on getting the sweet bike. Okay. So Christina then sends me an email. She sends me this email on October 17th of last year. She said, hi, Kyle. I've been super busy with work and my son, Jack, playing football and racing that I haven't been able to watch the channel lately. I still stay in touch with Jeremy from Moto Shippers. That's one of the drivers for Moto Shippers, the one who sent it out to me. Man, I wish I could just share my screen with you. I don't think there's a way I can do that. I guess I could pull it up on my phone. Let me just do that just for fun. I'm going to pull this up just so that you can see the email here. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to hold it up long enough that you can read the whole thing because it might have sensitive information. But if I look up for Christina Cunningham, yeah, this is the one. This is the email. Oh my gosh, that's so bad. So she says, I've been super busy between work and whatever. Anyway, okay, so here's what she said. Been super Jeremy from Motor Shippers dropped the bike off at my house. He sent the video that you put out today. I'm calling him out today because what happened is at the end of one of these the end of the sweepstakes, it was either the October one or I think it was the October one. I read off all the people that had won, because I was like, hey, let's just, I'm going to call out all the winners today. I'm going to say them by name. And so she was one of the ones. I can't even get through this. She said that he, as in the driver from Moto Shippers, sent her the video. She said, I just want to say right back at you, Kyle. You honestly couldn't even imagine how much winning the 2022 KTM 250 SXF changed the lives of me and my son. With a growing boy, being a single mom, it was a true blessing to have won. My son Jack is part of the AMA District 17 here in Illinois, and he races every weekend. There's a race. He rides at a local club called the Variety Riders in Ottawa, Illinois. Oh, shoot. About 30 minutes away. And also a little further north in a town called Weldron, Illinois, to play around. And when they have their big race of the year, this last July for his birthday, we traveled to Alabama to do some riding, all on the KTM that you chose to give away. This October, he'll be entering in the GNCC Ironman in Crawfordsville, Indiana. He'll be riding the KTM. I hope you know how truly life-changing it is that what you do. Thank you, Kyle. And she sends this email, and there's all these pictures. Sorry. Here he is. I do give a shit. I have since my divorce 3 years ago, I've gotten to know single moms. I've dated a lot looking for a person to spend the rest of my life with. And when she says, I've grown to respect and honor what single moms' lives are like. No, I said that. Sorry, I saw that. I responded back to her and I'm like, the fact that she's like, you honestly couldn't imagine how much it changed the lives of me and my son. She's a single mom. Single moms, they're grinders. And so it really hits you. You can't make up this emotion. Like the point is, and I'm even looking at the picture that I showed that she sent of that bike on my website, and you can see the mark of my pants because I was riding that bike. I did this lesson with AJ Catanzaro. I'm going to pull this up. I did this lesson with AJ Catanzaro, this lesson on jumping or whatever, and I was down in let's see, we were down in Monticello. It's so dumb. I'm trying to pull this up. I just wanted to show you guys the winner. So, or show you guys the thing. So if we go scroll down, 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 she shows a picture of her and her son with the bike. Is this on 2022? Yeah, it would be here. Josh Hoops, Durant, Andy Leifer. It's coming. Here it is. It's this picture. It's this picture right here. This is the picture of her and her son. And I think that's her dad. Anyway, it's hard to see this because it isn't focusing, but there's a little bit of a mark on the pipe. It's a black mark. That will not focus, but there's a black mark on the pipe. That black mark is from my freaking leg. So she gets this bike. It goes to Illinois, and there's my blood, sweat, and tears on it. And she and her son's been able to ride that thing and have a lot of fun. And that's a kid that wouldn't have been able to have that. Like I have dated all these single moms, and a lot of them have had. Everybody's situation is different, but just there's a lot of jackass dudes out there, and they've left their sometimes their kids in bad situations, and that one just really hit home. So it would be amazing. And I wrote an email back to her, and I didn't even hear back from her. Every once in a while, she'll send a text, and there's a few people that will send texts, but it's hard too because I don't want to put people out like if they have to sell it because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't even pay my bills, and now I won this bike and I'm going to sell it. Like I don't want anybody to feel bad for doing it. Maybe they have medical bills. Maybe who knows? I don't know what their situations are. So that's why I haven't ever done a thing where I'm like, hey, where are they now? Because I've keeping in touch with enough of them that some of those would be really great stories, and then other ones it wouldn't be the greatest story in the world. And I don't want that to go like that. Mojave Mike says, do you know if any of the bikes were postcards only? Yes, I have given more than one bike away to people who only did postcards. George Stasak says, saw you at the San Diego Supercross and I had your hat and your shirt for the drawing. That's awesome. I had a couple people come up to me. I had my kids, my teenagers with me at the San Diego Supercross. Chris says the full custom EC 300 gas was my favorite. Make another one of those. That one went out to this guy in Texas, and he reached out to me recently, and he was like wondering what the parts list was. And I'm like, "Are you looking to sell it?" And he's like, "I don't know, man." He's like, "Do you want to buy it back?" I'm like, I can't afford it. It's just one of those deals. I don't know if he kept it, or I hope he did. Vincent Henning says, "What an awesome story. Thanks for sharing." Tyler Harvey says, "Respect." Vincent says, motorcycles are life. To Gel M says, "So rewarding." Sorry, bro, didn't get that reaction, David. No, it's fine. Like, but I just want you guys to know, like, the emotions are right below the surface, and I do this because I care. I don't do this because I think it's the easiest way for me to become a millionaire. I'm not becoming a millionaire. I'm just making enough to get by. Um, make it so that my kids have a life, and I don't live lavishly. I've got my truck. Had to get a new truck last year, but I have a truck. I have a dirt bike, and I'm making it work off of doing YouTube videos and doing affiliate links and things like that. And I am not getting rich, but we're making it work, and that's what it is. And then every once in a while, there's like you really help somebody out, and that is worthwhile. And I don't know what the purpose of life is other than just to live a good life, and try to bless other people's lives, and um, raise your children in a manner in which they become people who contribute to society in a positive way. And some people do that by, having them involved in sports. Some people do dirt bikes. Last night, my son Case, my 14-year-old, freaking nailed it. He had between 18 and 21 points in a basketball game, and the game didn't even tip off until 9 p.m. So here I am. We're here. All of us parents are at 10 p.m. on a school night, like high-fiving our boys, and they had a good game. He's in 8th grade, and he loves basketball. He's also a good dirt bike rider, but he hardly rides at all now because he's like gravitating more towards basketball, and we're just supporting him in that. And he's learning a lot of good lessons there. And but yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not doing this because I'm making a ton of money. I'm doing this because I like it. I'm doing it because it's fun to share. So anyway. Tyler Harvell says, "I recently had the opportunity to give my brother a brand new bike. The most fulfilling." Tyler says, "It was the most fulfilling thing I think I've ever done. He got divorced a couple of years ago, and I knew that riding would do it for him again. I knew what riding would do for him." Tyler Harvell. Hashtag hero. Cole says, "Do you play guitar?" I used to. I played guitar for 15 years, Cole. From the time that I was 15 until 30, and then I got a dirt bike and I stopped. I mostly played electric guitar, but you probably see that guitar behind me. It's sitting there. It hasn't been touched for months. And my hands are all sweaty because I've been crying, but I will prove to you, Tyler, that I can play a little bit. I always feel like you got to prove it. So let's see if she's in tune. Yeah, we used to have a family band, and I played mostly electric guitar. I didn't sing a lot, but I played a lot of electric guitar, and then I realized after 15 years of playing that I suck. So then I kind of retired, and then I started riding dirt bikes, and I liked it a lot better. Shorty Moto, have you talked about the 2-stroke Kawasaki announcement yet? Yes, I have. I think it'd be awesome, but we don't know anything about it yet. Mojave Mike, you skipped over my first message. Mojave Mike, I don't know what the first message was. Let's find out. I'm going to do a control F in here and find out what Mojave Mike's first message was. No, your first message was, do you know if any of the winners were postcard only? And I answered it. I have given away more than one dirt bike to people who only entered via postcard, but also I've given away bikes to people who enter via postcard and purchase, but yeah, you have to you have to you have to be bonded, insured. It costs a lot of money, and then whoever my finalists are, that's who they are, and that's what you get. Although that last sweepstakes, I'm 99. I'm certain that person that I pulled out, that first person that I pulled out, I'm certain she was a postcard only person who just found me on like a sweepstakes website, and she didn't know any of the questions that we went to ask her, and so I was able to just hang up on her immediately. So that was good. Deeds Not Words says, you make me want to get a dirt bike, dude. Thank you for that. I've never enjoyed life as much. Okay, so let me start over. Deeds Not Words says, you made me want to get a dirt bike, dude. I thank you for that because I've never enjoyed life this much in a good while. So thank you very much. You're welcome. Tyler says, thank you, Kyle. Tyler was the guy that gave the bike to his brother. And that was amazing. Jason Mullen says, while not always the most practical bikes, I've always had the most fun ripping small bore 125XC and 125X. My buddies always give me shit for it. LOL. Which bike have you had the most fun riding? I know, yeah. I don't have as much fun riding the 125s, but I know a lot of guys that do, especially if you're really good. I'm not good. And so some people will say, it's more fun to ride a small bore bike fast than it is to ride a bigger bore bike slower. I think people talk about that a lot. The one that I've had the most fun on is like anywhere from the 2017 250XC to about the 2022 250XC. Those were my favorites. Carburetor, fuel injection, didn't matter. I loved those bikes. I didn't like them as much in 2023 and 2024. The XCs, and it wasn't because of the motors, it was because of the frames. But those are the ones that I've had the most fun on. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 KTM 250 XC. Those have been my favorite bikes. Con Cowty said, gotta get this thing off. Con Cowty says, looking at stepping up my wife from her KLR 230R Cowie onto a 125XC or a 150XCW. Any thoughts on what would be better? Ride mostly in the open and looking to make some more tracks in the field. I would say a 150 would be better. The 150XCW is going to have a little bit more low end, and it'll have a wider ratio transmission. That'd probably be the one. You might want to look at lowering it, but I'll tell you what I would do. Since she's on a Cowie now, what I would look to do is put her on a Beta 200RR. Beta 200RR. It's about an inch lower than the KTM, and you can get them with a low boy kit. It's a factory option that you can get from Beta. And now the bike is 3 inches lower than these other bikes. It's a 202 stroke. It's gentle, but it can also rip. You would have more fun on it. It'll have more power. It'll be more forgiving for her. It's better all the way around. So that's what I would do, is put her on a Beta 200RR. That's what I would do. Shorty Moto says, I'm in this lull. My son is now 2 years old. For the first time, I haven't had a dirt bike in 10 years. I miss it so much. I can't wait for him to get a little older so I have a riding buddy. I get it. We lose people in moto somewhere between 20 and 30. We just do. And it's because dad stops buying your dirt bikes. Life gets expensive. You got to like, you're grinding and it's expensive. So sometime between 20 and 30 or 35, we lose people in this sport. It's a problem. And that's right where you're at. So yeah. Cole says that was great. You don't suck. Probably talking about the guitar. Um, what do you think of Cody Webb's YZ250X build? I saw something about it on Instagram, but I'm not really a consumer of social media. So I saw that Cody Webb signed. He left Sherco and then he signed with Yamaha. Cody Webb is like an off-road hard enduro rider, and I saw that he was making a little bit of content about a YZ250X, but I didn't look really at the build at all. So just been busy. Shorty Moto said, from one dad to another, I want my son to love dirt bikes as much as I do, because not having them right now is tearing me apart. You just got, like, when they're little, it's easy to make them love what you love, and then they get a little bit older, and then they have to decide what they want to do. There's 2Gel M. I admire you. I had the best memories riding dirt bikes in 1969, and I have bought numerous bikes for relatives with the hopes that they would even get 10% of what they've done for me. I hear you. FN Flame says, looking to upgrade from a KX100 to a full frame small bore 2-stroke in the woods. The KTM 150 SX is the one I can find for cheaper than the 150 XCW. Would the SX be bad for the trails, or what would you recommend? So here's the thing. So you're a younger gentleman, I'm assuming. KX100 is more, that'd be for somebody somewhere between 12 to 14, maybe even 15 years old. And when you go to upgrade to these, quote, full-size frames, now you're looking at 125s, 150s. Like a YZ125X would be the greatest because it would be cheaper than these KTMs. But it doesn't have electric start. This 150SX you're talking about, it'd be fine. It's just that the suspension will be very stiff. Now, for many, many years, that's what everybody did. Everybody just rode these motocross bikes and rode them off road, and you just dealt with it. You dealt with the fact that it was valved really, really heavy or really stiff, and you dealt with it. And a lot of people did it. I'm assuming that you won't have the money to revalve it because you're younger, I'm guessing. And so it's going to be tough to revalve it. So you would just get that bike, and then you have that bike, but it's more money. My suggestion is maybe you try to find a Yamaha YZ125. It'll be less money. They're more plentiful. And then you might have a little bit of money left over to maybe do something with the suspension. That's what I would say. But either way. And then Trail of Sky says, I'm 62 also. I bought a Husky TC250. Bobby Hampton says, I need suspension for an 04 YZ125. Point me in the right direction. Depends on where you are in the country, Bobby. The suspension shop that I trust the most, and I am friends with him, but I don't have any deals with him, is Kevin at Moto Experts. He's in Spanish Fork, Utah. Great guy, great family man. I met him through Dirt Bike Channel. I've had other companies come and go, and I'm going to put it in the chat here, but Moto Experts, this guy loves stuff. Moto Experts. He loves doing this. He was down at the San Diego Supercross, and he met up with one of these like legends in suspension. I just put it in the chat. It's motoexperts.com. You could send him your suspension, or even just, call him up. But he's just a geek for suspension. He loves it. Humble guy, introvert or whatever. And that's the place that I trust. There's other places that do it, but I would say if you're gonna get your suspension done, try to find somebody local to where you are, because that I do believe in supporting local. If you don't know anyone local and you want to send it off, and you're not here in Utah, then use that Moto Experts. So that's what I've got there. A Brit, a blonde, and a bike says, here in New Zealand, a lot of us ride trails on betas. Yeah, betas are great. Tyler Harvell says the TC 250 is a pretty peppy bike. Yes. Bobby Hampton says, cool, thanks. A Brit and a blonde says, not sure I've seen you review a 2025 beta. No, I haven't reviewed any 2025 stuff yet. I have this 2025 motocross bike for my son, the 250 SXF. He's off riding it, hopefully right now for the first time. And then I haven't ridden my 250 XC yet. I've been going for a little over an hour. I'm going to cut you guys loose. Thanks for coming on. Again, you can tell I got pretty emotional there. Here I was bawling on a YouTube live, but that's because I care. I care about these people. I care about dirt bikes. And yeah, the people that have won bikes from me, they're near and dear to my heart. Not all of them have been able to keep the bikes. I know that, but some have kept them and it's changed their lives. And they know who they are. And I'm thankful for them. They're thankful for me. And so that's a good one. But anyway, use my links for Rocky Mountain ATV. They're down in the video description, or they're over on my website, dirtbikechannel.com. Whenever you're going to go buy something from them, buy tires or gear or parts or tools or oil or chemicals or air filters or whatever, click my link, shop Rocky Mountain ATV. They do free shipping on orders over $75. I'll have 2 orders coming on my porch tomorrow because I ordered twice from them today. So those guys are great. And that's what I have for you guys. So until next time, leave a single track. Thanks.